Good morning and welcome to my car. What? We aren't in my apartment? Today we are going to be doing the IRL doll shopping video. I wanted to say stream, not stream. This is not live. Today I'm going to be visiting some different antique malls that I've never been to before, and we're gonna see if I can find dolls. What dolls I can find. I don't think I'm gonna buy anything today, but I am keeping an eye out specifically for maxi, jazzy, and gem dolls. So maybe if we get lucky. Otherwise, we're gonna just check out some antique malls and see if they have dolls and what type of dolls and see how antique these antique malls really are. I am at the first location, which has so many signs saying they are an antique vendor mall. So, and toys. I'm hopeful. This is Second Chance Antiques in Everett, Washington, north of Seattle. I haven't been here before, so let's check it out.
All right, voiceover Mary is taking over. It was a delightfully gray and humid, kind of gross day out today, so it was the perfect day for me to spend it inside. And the first thing I saw was a Toys R Us truck, so I was pretty optimistic going into this. This bag reminded me so much of Raggedy Ann. I thought it was really adorable. So the antique malls that I really love going to, the way that they're set up is essentially people will rent out a booth space, and so there'll be a bunch of different people selling their own stuff. For example, this person had a bunch of Disney stuff and also some really cute, colorful dishware, which I love how it was organized by color. I tried to get some good footage to give you a vibe of what these look like because I know not everybody has antique malls like this or has been to them before, and they're some of my favorite things to explore. That is, they don't always have a ton of dolls in them, but over here I do find the first kind of cool doll thing that I find on my journey, which is this Cool Cuts Cara replaceable hair pieces. The Cara doll was a doll that you were designed to cut and give her cool hairstyles, and then you could replace those hair pieces. So these were made by Kenner, and there were 2 sets of them for $5 each. I also found this Mickey Mouse phone, who I find at every antique mall I ever go to. Also cars. This is such a reoccurring theme. I don't know what it is about people collecting cars, but they sure bought enough to then later have to sell them in the future. So here's kind of another like overall view of the area I'm in. Just lots of trinkets. Oh, this was fun. Some Vampire the Masquerade books. I'm getting really into listening to or watching D20, so I'm getting curious about some other TTRPGs. And I just kind of like the vibe of this room. Like it had some nice pastel colors. And as you can see, lots of trinkets. These antique malls can be a little overwhelming if you aren't already used to exploring them because they do tend to have just a bit of everything. And by antique, what I meant at the start is sometimes you'll find things that are actually antiques and sometimes you just find whatever people want to sell. It can be a total mixed bag. For example, these small fry club gentlemen. But then I have another actual doll that I found, which is the charming Chatty doll. She came with a record that would like play voice lines with her, and you could get different outfit packs that would have different records with them, which is kind of neat. Got some other kind of fun clothing and trinkets. Oh, a lot of Raggedy Ann stuff. I really liked that book back there. I didn't end up getting it, but I thought it was cute. And the Lost Files of Nancy Drew.
Okay, so last location did not work out. There was one fun doll hair thing. Not really any dolls that I'm looking for, at least. So I have moved on. I am now in Snohomish, I think. I've come here before, so I'm now at the Star Center Antique Mall. And this is like antique mall to the max. It's big, it's multiple floors, tons of booths, and I'm pretty sure dolls are here. In fact, I'm literally looking at a doll right now. So I'm gonna be optimistic that we're gonna find something fun at the Star Center Antique Center. Look, you can see an icon is waiting for us. Come antiquing with us.
Off to location number 2, the Star Center Mall, which is one of the biggest antique malls in my area, starting off strong with some Luigi rainbow suspenders. This isn't my favorite antique mall that I've been to, but it does have a really wide selection, and I did start off getting to see a Skipper doll accessory set. This is a bedroom that had a bed on one side and a desk on the other. It's really cute. I really wanted it, except it did not have a price tag. So I went down. This does have 2, I guess like a basement and sub-basement or 2 lower floors to go through. I tried to do some of this footage where I kind of like gave you a first person view. This is very like FMV weird video game vibes. And sorry that it like bounces with my step, but I wanted again to give you the feel of you're coming along shopping with me. Lots of fun, again, trinkets kind of from around the world. We got this guy. He's really emotive. We have the girls of Canada. I do love finding a vintage Playboy, and we have some more Raggedy Anns. Lots of Raggedy Anns this entire trip. So we found a Raggedy Ann and a Raggedy Andy. These are the Hasbro dolls that were made in the 80s, I believe, and they're in box. They're good quality, but they're not like super old in the grand scheme of Raggedy Ann. Also found this super cute miniature kitchen. I love tiny things. Very cute. Oh, and who's this? Could that be a Miss Your Mouse phone? Once again, I see those everywhere. And then we have a doll in box. We have a holiday doll from Jack's Pacific. Here they are, looking very pretty. Not something that I necessarily want or need, but was just happy to see, this style of doll in box. And then also a cleaned out MacBook computer. I want that. I wish I could build PCs, and I would build a PC in that. That was so cool. Just look at how much stuff, how there's all these hallways of things, and I was trying really hard to not record other people. So if you notice, there are like sudden cuts in the footage. That's why. Oh, and then we have this weird collection of Divergent and Insurgent dolls, and then a random Katniss that I was kind of tempted by, except she was $35. Back here, they also had some modern Barbies, as well as a little Easter Barbie. Didn't quite appeal to me. Wasn't like a terrible price, but I didn't really want her. And then also this Oz and Great and Powerful doll, which I didn't care too much about. Look at them. Oh my god, I love them. This section did have some dolls. They weren't anything I was feeling crazy about. We had that My First Barbie, as well as some Cupid dolls and some older dolls, but again, nothing that like screamed out to me. Over here was kind of fun. It's always neat seeing some different like sewing patterns. And one thing you're always going to find a lot of is Christmas stuff. Christmas collectors are just another beast. Oh, there were some Legos, which were neat to see. I just like looking at Legos. I just like seeing some toys, they just make me happy. Ooh, they also had an interesting selection of like some different Japanese toys, which were intriguing, but also was intriguing was this giant paint with water Barbie book, except it had mostly already been used. Most of the colors were appearing, and it looked like it really was just 2 colors, which isn't as fun as I would have hoped it to be. But this booth did also have this Barbie and Ken book. I already have a Barbie mystery book that were kind of written with this, but what I really want is the Barbie's Easy as Pie cookbook. Those go for a lot of money online, and they used to be only $1.95. Then I got to this booth that I've been to before that had this exact same Ginny's fashion sets. It had all of these the last time I was here over a year ago. They're trying to sell these for $20. Girl, if you haven't sold them for a year, they're not going to sell. I then went downstairs into the basement, and I was really excited to check this out. It felt very like, ooh, spooky, what's going to be down here? And it was just artwork and furniture, which are 2 things that I just do not need at this time of my life. Really has just anything you could need. Road signs, little trucks with Christmas trees, a suit of armor for a child, a bunch of these statues of the same pig design. So really, whatever you need, they probably have some of it. Oh my god, was that Jesus on a crucifix? I did not see that in person. That was a little creepy. Okay, I think this was then upstairs. I found some American Girl doll and more Raggedy Anns. I feel like Raggedy Anns are just all over the place. You can tell they were the most popular rag doll for a reason, I guess. But yeah, we have a lot of kind of older style, more porcelain style dolls. Up here, I feel like I remembered there being a booth that had a bunch of Barbies, but it wasn't here this time, unfortunately. I love these lamps. I would love to get a kind of, I think they're called shag light like that, or swag light? I hope they're not called swag light, but they are so expensive here, so I was not purchasing any of those. In this corner, there were some kind of fun comic book stuff. So there were some action figures and game things, Funko Pops, classic finding Funko Pops at the antique mall because nobody wants them because they're trash. Also, though, Funko is headquartered pretty close to Everett, where I believe this was located, or not too far away, maybe Bellevue. Somewhere in this region, Funko Pop is headquartered, so I feel like there's just a bazillion of Funko Pops. But then, look at all these fun thermoses and lunch boxes. Those are really neat. I always like seeing those. And there were so many books around. I wish I had a quicker eye for reading so I could read covers. Ooh, also collectible cards. None of these were anything I wanted to get, but I do love a little collectible baseball card vibe. Oh, and then we had Charlie's Angels, one of the original doll sets of Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels dolls would later be made by Girl Power, I think it was called, a specific doll line. I'll put up pictures of them here that I've been tempted to buy versions of. And we tend to see a lot of, in these antique malls, if there are toys, they tend to be more toys that were kind of, designed for boys rather than girls. And there's probably a lot of nuance that could be said about like what's considered culturally appropriate for collecting. And then I'm zooming in on babes in bikinis. I swear I'm not a perv. My awooga senses are tingling. Oh, well, okay. And then there's also Science Illustrated, which I was like, is this like Sports Illustrated for nerds? Very curious. Want to know more. I'm recording all of this voiceover as I watch this footage back for the first time, so it's kind of like I get to explore this for the second time and see a bunch of little things I didn't see. Like, I really like that blue chair right there. It feels very retro-futuristic, which I always kind of enjoy. What is going on there? Oh, we had some doll clothes. Okay, I did try and pause on things that I found to be kind of interesting. There's always a lot of clothing and none of it's fit. Oh, the eggs. There were some eggshells. You can really just find anything you would ever need here. Is it going to be expensive? Yes. Is it going to fit you if it's clothing? No. This area was really fun though. It was a bunch of doll houses. Whoever set this up obviously had at one point been quite into miniatures. So this little fairy one, so cute. These were some really adorable little houses, and they had some nice like furniture pieces as well. So it was really fun to go through. Seattle, at least in the past, I don't know if they still do, but they used to always have a miniatures convention. And me and my mom actually went to it one year when I was a kid, which I always remember thinking was just so cool. It's so cool to see how people build things really small and really cute. So I was checking out some of those. They also, on the floor, had this little Barbie stand that was beach themed, which was interesting, as well as had some kind of like McDonald's toys, but alas, did not find any dolls I wanted at the Star Center. But that's okay, because there are actually some other antique centers right down the road that I walked to. So here is our next one. Got a lot of shots of these hallways. Also, I wanted to point out you can buy your letter blocks pre-chewed. There you go. Lots of Pokemon cards as well. And I know in the past, back in this corner, I was able to find some doll stuff. They didn't have it this time, but they did have some really cool kind of framed Kool-Aid prints, which I thought were just so fun and colorful. And they also had, some A&W mugs, which I love A&W. As a proud Canadian A&Ws are the best A&Ws. American ones are trash, in my opinion. But they also had a bunch of these old cookbooks. And I'm very tempted always to get some retro cookbooks and see what sort of, delicacies I could create. These places always, of course, have a bunch of dishware and glassware, a little punch serving bowl for all your parties. I had to wave at you in the mirror. It is a legal requirement. Ooh, that Zippo light is kind of fun. And I'm trudging along. Watching me walk, you can tell so easily I'm taking pretty slow steps. It's funny. Now I'm going to be like super, self-conscious of my walking footage. So silly. But again, you always do find clothing at these sorts of places as well, but a lot of it's clothing that people weren't wearing. So that means it's probably pretty small in that it was a size that a lot of people couldn't wear or kids wore for a little bit and didn't wear for long. So it's nothing that I could ever really wear or put good use to. That green dress though, so pretty. I loved that. I had to give it a little okay sign. Oh, and over here there was another dollhouse, which was really cute. I really love seeing these little doll houses, and I had a bunch of furniture as well. And it's fun to see different styles of homes represented with doll houses, like modernism and stuff like that. Oh, and then I found the Agatha Christie's. And if you don't already know, I read a bunch of Agatha Christie books this year, so I did end up buying one of those Agatha Christie books. There were some other fantasy books as well, but nothing that really caught my eye like an Agatha Christie does. And is this the very back section? I think this might be the very back section of that store. I don't think there are any dolls back here to find. Mostly, again, just dishes and assorted pieces of furniture and a lot of books. A lot of books that I did not need or want. I feel like there were dolls in the stores. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there's me with Agatha Christie. Oh, the upstairs. The upstairs of this place was rockin' though. I loved it. There was this one section that had those lunch boxes, had some fun other little trinkets. It had this like, oh, it had a bunch of doll clothes. I don't like looking through doll clothes like that. I don't know. It stresses me out. But that soda shop doll carrier and playset, very cool. Oh, it had these books that were by Carolyn Keene, but Carolyn Keene is just like a made-up name for the authors of the Nancy Drew series, so I didn't realize that they used that same author name for a different series of books. And I messaged my friend Snuggly, who makes Nancy Drew videos, that she should make a video about them, so hopefully they will in the future. These are some of my favorite cups. So the Seattle World Fair had a couple of different like collector's editions cups made for it. So the World Fair in Seattle was in 1962. Some of my like favorite iconic pieces of Seattle history are from that time period. That's where the Space Needle was built, the Science Center was built, some really beautiful buildings. And some really cool merchandise was made for it, and I always love to see it. But then we have over here, kind of unrelated to that, a bucket of pins, including this one that says, "Return to me." This one, "Stop the drop." I just love finding these because you know they had meaning behind them when they were made. And now they've kind of lost their meaning completely. And they're just in a box in Snohomish, Washington. Lots of books again, some other Hardy Bros books. I'm always on the lookout for some of the like original Nancy Drew books with the full color cover. Oh, and that is an illustration of my favorite building in Seattle, the Smith Tower. Fun fact, the Smith Tower was the first skyscraper built in the region, and it was the tallest building on the West Coast for a period of time. You're getting a lot of my Seattle facts in this video because we're not seeing too many dolls to talk about, though I did think that this little like toy typewriter was really cute. I always love seeing kid versions of older technology because we do that so often today, right? Like kids will have like toy cell phones and toy computers, and it just goes to show like that's just how play has been done, is make smaller kid version of thing and they'll play with it and enjoy it. Oh, I liked this Miller High Life little decoration thing. I was gonna say I'm not really into beer, which I ironically am drinking a shandy in this moment, which is half beer, half Sprite, which feels like a barely alcoholic beverage. It's so good, I swear. I swear they're so delicious. It's like the perfect summer drink in my opinion. But it's the only time I really ever drink beer is when I like maybe once every other week buy a single beer so I can make myself a shandy with it. I won't lie to you all, I do consume a little bit of beer. This feels very unrelated to what we're seeing happen in the video. I love quilts. I always love, there are people that will take quilts and turn them into like pants or jackets. Ooh, I'd love to do that. Okay, we have some dolls here. We have some Sunrise in America dolls. So one of them is a Christmas themed doll, but then there are also some outfit sets. So we have the birthday set, which I really loved the dress on this one. It is so cute. Also had this, an Easter set, which didn't do much for me, but then this one as well. Oh, Majorette, that's what it's called. And guess what? Another fucking Mickey Mouse one. If anybody ever tries to tell you these are rare, they're not. I find those phones literally every time I go to an antique mall. There's one of them there, and they stare into my soul. Speaking of things staring into my soul, this super cool Petite Princess Fantasy Furniture display set. So this would have been a display set that was in a store that people could look at to see the kind of like bedrooms and things set up. Is this not so cool to see? I love the bedrooms furniture. I love that couch in the living room. So cute. Here I am with my book that I had to purchase. and I stomp on past all of the furniture, which is both too expensive and also not things that I want. I actually honestly was on the lookout for a nightstand, but I think I accidentally decided on what style of nightstand that I want, and it's one I probably won't find at an antique mall. So I've done myself in. We got some action boys. We got some action boys. And this rotating stand, which I realized when I was recording it wasn't rotating, so I had to record again, of cars. Isn't that a fun way to show off more cars? Again, whoever said people could collect those should have slapped it out of their hands. Nobody needed that many Hot Wheels. Here are some other just miscellaneous dolls, though I will say they did have the NASCAR Barbie, which I've talked about wanting in the past. She was $20, which wasn't too bad, but I didn't really want to spend $20 on a Barbie I kind of wanted. You know, if she was $10, why not? But 20, a little expensive, which is ironic because I am about to find something in this area, which I will spend $20 on, but I noticed they had video games because, yes, antique malls oftentimes now will have booths with video games. And of course, I dug through all of the different options to see what I could find. And in a second, you'll see a clip of what I found. Manhunt 2 for the Wii. I think this counts as a horror game, adding that to my Wii horror game collection and going into Antique Warehouse. The Antique Warehouse. This one is a little bit of a smaller adventure. Loved the vibes in here though. Look at that alien CD holder. Absolute swag. Like, that would be a wild thing to own. Cute little Barbie thermos lunchbox, which was adorable. And again, I like the vibes in this place. Oh, they had some of those cards, some playing cards. This was a smaller one. Oh, they had a lot of cards. I went downstairs, but downstairs mostly just had furniture in it. But let's appreciate some nice beer signs and pennants as we go down into the void of just a lot of furniture. Another Mickey Mouse taunting me in the distance. And what I immediately locked in on, which was, oh, a Sailor Moon merchandise. Okay. Oh, that's so fun. And then I walked down a little further and I would see not only a Sailor Moon, but a Sailor Moon next to an Army Man toy, which I found funny.
All right, it's time for my final stop of the day. I'm going to be going into Aurora Antique Pavilion. This is a local haunt of mine. I don't come here a ton. It's definitely been a few months since I've last been here, but I've been to this antique mall a few times and they have had some doll stuff in the past. So I'm hoping maybe we'll find something fun or something cool. Let's go check it out.
Okay, y'all. Shout outs to Aurora Antique Pavilion. This is genuinely one of my favorite antique malls. It's not huge, but I always start out seeing that Barbie lunchbox and it gets me hyped. This place is huge and well organized. I started out with just looking at the outside shops, and there was just so much stuff to look at, which I know that's been like the running theme, but this one was much more comfortable to get around. First of all, Princess of Power stuff. So fun to see. Oh my gosh, we have dolls. We have little like horses and a swan to ride on. Very cute. In here, they also had a box set for J.J. McField's in the Island of Memories, The Missing, which is a game by Swery, who also created Deadly Premonition and who also followed me on Twitter when I used Twitter. My immense bragging rights over Swery following me on Twitter because I cosplayed as JJ from that game. I streamed it forever ago. Over in here, I did find kind of a fun doll. So this is Magic Mary, or Flower Magic Mary, and she came with a little watering can you could use to add flowers to her outfit, which is pretty cute. I always love finding dolls named Mary because I'm like, oh my god, that's me. Oh, but my name is Mary. This place was great in terms of toys of all sorts and dolls. We had some knockoff Polly Pockets. I'm sorry, I got distracted saying that by the giant raisin thing that is on the stand next to this that I did not notice the first time I was there. Oh my god. We got some Funko Pops. We also have some Barbie puzzles. Very cute. I just love some old Barbie photography and artwork. And again, I just want to highlight how easy this place is to walk around. A lot of antique malls are very challenging to get around in. Oh, here's another Barbie house. This is the Barbie Lively Live-In house. It has 2 floors. Very cute. I love the packaging on that. But again, yeah, this one's just like a lot easier to maneuver than some other antique malls that I've been to. It also, like, the floors aren't super rickety. Like, it doesn't totally feel like the building's about to fall apart. Oh, some pretty blankets in this one. Sorry. This is very like my ADHD brain, the video, in terms of I'm just like, ooh, look at thing. Oh, look at those little Godzilla men. Aren't they just a delight? This booth also had some cute little like Hello Kitty stuff in it, which was adorable. Who doesn't love some Hello Kitty Godzilla stuff? And then there's this booth, which I always enjoy every time I've seen it, but it is overwhelming to say the least. This is like a very packed booth to the point where it's hard to actually walk into it to look at stuff. Lots of Littlest Pet Shop. They had a Mapletown toy in packaging, as well as these little play sets. Like there was that Meanie one, and then there's this other one over here, which is I think like a little schoolhouse, which is cute. Oh, and then some American Girl dolls, which I was like too zoomed in on. Sorry. Sorry, my ladies. But yeah, there's almost too much stuff in here for me to be able to see everything that's going on in here. So while I do enjoy some of it, it is a bit overwhelming. This was like this Barbie bath set thing, which came with like a plastic necklace and chalk for in the bath. Interesting. You know, sometimes they throw spaghetti at the wall in the world of Barbie, and we just have to go along with it. I do love that pink couch, I will say. Would love to have. I don't need that furniture, but who says I wouldn't love to have it? I like the stripes in that room as well. It's pretty cute. And over here, there were a ton of records. I didn't dig too much into these. I'm trying to hold off on buying any physical media that I don't have a way to play it. So I'm allowed to buy CDs and DVDs and things like that. But if I don't have a way to use it, I'm trying to hold off purchasing it because that's excessive. Oh, jar of troll dolls, important for you to see, as well as a cute little dress. Pretty adorable. And returning on my march, but have to show you. Again, this section is quite packed. Not sure if people were supposed to be able to look through it, but oh. And we have this friend here. An important part of the antique mall experience is sometimes seeing a little silly mannequin dressed up. You know, because people like to have fun. They like to set up their little booths with all sorts of fun little decorations. Ooh, lots of different salt and pepper shakers. Sorry I didn't let you see those a little bit clearer because there were some different fun ones, but also some fun different toys in the corner. I thought at first these were Star Trek. Oh, they are Star Trek. Now I can read the label more clearly. I wasn't sure. There were just a lot of them. Star Trek is another like collectible that definitely can find a lot of in package. Definitely know that collectors were out there collecting and then eventually just either decided they didn't want them anymore, or someone in their family decided that they didn't need them when they were passed on to them. So they end up at places like this, full of random trinkets. I mostly came over here because I saw that there was that Barbie carrying case, but then there's also a Raggedy Andy on the floor. So again, theme of the video, Raggedy Ann, race cars, and Christmas. That's what you'll find if you go to an antique mall. Also some vintage sporting stuff. Oh, and some other dolls. Also, Muska just got off his flower, so he is now standing on the desk next to the microphone. Would you like to say anything? Nope. Declines to comment. All right, so we had a Valentine's special edition Barbie. We also had a Pioneer Barbie, which I've actually been tempted to buy in the past. She was a part of like 3 kind of, I guess, early Americana dolls. And so she's one of them. And then there also was a Pilgrim Barbie here, which again was part of that set, which I'm not really interested in. I don't know. I think Pioneers have a little more swag than Pilgrims. Either way, stealing land, colonialism's bad. But then we're going to find the coolest thing that I found this entire time, which is a Gem and the Holograms car. It has me freaking out about it. Oh my god, I was whispering though. So this was a car that you could like charge up and set to drive. Essentially, you could set its like speed, I believe, right there. And I think it might have had a radio. This thing is really cool. I kind of wish I could have bought it, but it was $70, which just goes a little bit outside my doll accessory budget. But like, so freaking cool. That is a sick car. Okay, and I'm losing my voice now. I guess I've been yapping too much, but I was excited. Oh, you can see me covering the camera because there was a person. Again, I try really hard to be respectful, but there was a Magic Attic Club doll. This has been on my list of doll lines to cover. I don't know if I will in the future, but it has been on my list. So over here was just like a fun number of little action figures and dolls, but I wanted to check out the Magic Attic doll. Here is what it's labeled as. It's an Allison doll for $50. So again, kind of outside of what I'm really wanting to spend right now. But these were created, I believe, as a competitor for American Girl. They do have kind of like porcelain doll vibes. So not always my like cup of tea, my vibe. I like it when I feel like my dolls would survive a drop. You know, if I were to accidentally throw them, they would live. I do like this though. Cool Times Barbie, you are very cool. I love you. Please marry me. Some more Star Trek stuff, and then a Barbie dream house, as well as some older Barbie and Barbie-like dolls. I was trying to read what type of Barbie that was. I couldn't quite get a read on it, but cool to see. This booth also had a lot of doll wigs as well as some doll shoes. Nothing that I could really put to use, but I thought was kind of fun to look through. But I also kind of find that just as stressful as looking through doll clothes, where it's like, I don't know what any of this should be valued at, and I don't really want to spend that much money on it, and yada da da da. Here we had some other like baby dolls, rag dolls, some other Barbies and Barbie likes. Didn't know all of them, but always kind of fun to see. Nothing of the Gem maxi jazzy variety, unfortunately, that I've been looking for. Over here was some fun though. We had some Monster High dolls, as well as a Babysitter's Club doll and a Harajuku Lovers little perfume figure, which I loved those perfumes when I was in middle school. I had a lot of them. I thought they were so cute. We had a little Barbie fashion pack as well. This area had just some general like cute kids stuff. Down at the bottom there, they have those dolls. I think those were called cupcake cuties, where you could like fold them up into cupcakes and then unfold them, and the cupcake kind of like shell thing became a dress, which I'm pretty sure was designed by the same person who worked on some other dolls I've talked about before. That sounds cryptic. Other Barbies stuff. Other Barbies. There you go. Now we're walking on. Stephanie Escanzar, I think that's the name I'm thinking of, also worked on what line of dolls? She worked on the Maxi doll line, but she worked on other dolls I've talked about in the past, which I'm sure if you've enjoyed my past videos, you probably know who I'm talking about. This was a fun kind of like movie themed area with some retro movie stuff, as well as a mystery toolbox. Isn't that a fun way to get rid of stuff? Like, oh, they're mystery tools. They're not trash. Also, I loved that there was like a bunch of those mini McDonald's kids meals package things in there. And this, again, I've only been going on the outside of the store. I haven't looked at any of the inside stalls yet. There were just so many different things in the shop and so many booths. And also still really good lighting. So really shout out to this location. You love to see being able to see things when you're inside a antique mall. Also, this one doesn't smell too bad. The first antique mall I went to smelled like really good, which I wanted to point out. It smelled really nice. Usually antique malls just kind of smell like dusty, mildewy. That first one smelled great. This one smells fine. Some in the middle are kind of, they're not terrible. They're not like that overwhelming dusty smell, but they're also not like, wow, this smells so good, except that first one. I gotta say, I don't know what they were doing. See, there's a doorway I didn't go through, and that actually just leads to kind of these like hallways that just have furniture in them. And again, I'm not really looking for furniture right now, or at least furniture of this style that's been here. Over through here, in the past, these shelves used to just be full of books. I don't know what happened to those books, but we have a section here with lots and lots of books. None of them were anything that I was looking for. I just did a little skim over, saw if there were any pink Barbie books. I'm always hopeful that someone will have that Barbie cookbook and have it accidentally for $1, and then I buy it, and then I have it, instead of the like hundreds of dollars that it sells for, which is so much money for who? And for who is the question. I had some other little dolls and trinkets, none of which I especially wanted or needed, but always lovely to see. Now, every time I see a Mickey Mouse, I'm like, that phone. And then, this booth, which has had dolls in the past, had 3 Spectra dolls. Each of them were $95, so I did not buy them. Sadly, I definitely considered getting the actual Spectra doll. These were in great condition. Like, their boxes are in almost perfect condition. Like, for when they were made, here you can see me going, oh, I want these. I'm whispering in this footage, so it's like awful to listen to, so I'm not gonna make you listen to it. But I got really tempted to buy that. That's the first time I've seen those dolls in person. So it was really cool to see. The rest of this booth didn't have as many dolls as I wish it did. I mean, it had some other like stuff that, was cool, but just wasn't exactly what I wanted. It had some Disney stuff, had some Funko Pops, of course. It also, had some more just general kind of toy stuff. But in this corner, in the past, I know that I have seen dolls here, so I was excited to dig in deeper. The first thing I found was this girl, and I was like, who even are you? Do I know you? This is one of the Shiba Juku girls. I've had mixed feelings about these. I think anytime there's a doll line that tries to really lean into like anime aesthetics or J fashion, it's never quite done as well as I want as someone who enjoys J fashion a lot. Oh my god, I also found these Sarah's Gang dolls, which are just so funny. So each of the dolls are supposed to teach a different thing. So Katie teaches responsibility. They're supposed to teach you this different, helpful life skills, essentially. But it just reminded me a lot of the YMCA having the core values of respect, responsibility, caring, and honesty, which is like drilled in my head from working at a YMCA summer camp. So I was like, oh my god, YMCA dolls. But over in here, they have the Barbies, the boxes of Barbies, as well as a enchanted Samantha fashion doll, which I wish was closer to the ground so I could have seen clearer, but look at her hair. Oh my god. So they had a lot of just collector fashion Barbies, which I'm not super into. I will say I like the Sound of Music a lot, so I was kind of tempted by the Maria doll, but a lot of these aren't Barbies that I'm ever super interested in. In terms of Barbies, I like stuff that was designed as part of the Playline set, so more designed for kids than collectors. I just appreciate the different innovative things people have done with kids' toys. These are all gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, I love this doll. That price, not so much, but great doll. But yeah, nothing over here was super catching my eye. I had a weird Barbie from the movie. I didn't even really look thoroughly through the top ones because it was all kind of more of the collector dolls, which I'm not super into. This is fun though, Barbie Magic Moves. So this is a little smoothie blender that moved, which is kind of cool. And they also had a couple of these little accessory sets, which I had to try and dig out with one hand. So this first one was for a little picnic. It had a picnic basket and plates and stuff. And then the second one was a baking set, which is pretty cute. So these are pretty treasures. And then they had the Rosie O'Donnell Barbie. I was so tempted to buy this. I'm kind of sad I didn't. It was only $12. I think I just should have. Bought her. This is me being like, should I do it? Should I buy the Rosie O'Donnell? Because I have the working woman Barbie that she like pairs up with well. And I was like, oh my God, should I finally get the Rosie doll so she can hang out with my working woman Barbie? And I didn't, but now I kind of regret it. They also had some Dolls of the World, which I do think these are really pretty. Like, absolutely nothing against them. They're gorgeous. I just don't need them because I feel like if I bought one, I want to buy them all, you know? So it's a slippery slope. If I'm going to get one doll of the world, I got to get all the doll of all the world. Over here were some more kind of modern Barbies. There was this one Coca-Cola Barbie, which I was kind of tempted by because I might be doing a slightly related video in the future. Also was Army Barbie, which I just find so funny. I find any military Barbie stuff to be fucking hilarious. Would only ever buy it secondhand, but something about seeing my pink girl in a army uniform just makes me giggle. There are some other like doll clothes and little trinkets, lots of Raggedy Anns, as I've been saying so many times through this video, but I found more Coca-Cola Barbies. If any of these were under $10, I think I would have got them. All of them were over 10 though, and I just do not need to spend that much money on any of these dolls. Especially though, the other thing was they had another sticker on them from obviously wherever they sold before that was a lower price. And I'm like, no, if you're gonna sell something for more, look at these two, so cute. If you're gonna sell something for more, take off the lower price sticker. That's annoying. But yeah, there were so some of the Sky Dancers, some of the modern ones, I think up there, had the Grease Frenchie doll as well as a French Barbie. And oh my God, I hope you didn't think I wouldn't find that Mickey Mouse phone here. Here's my fit check. Taylor Swift cardigan. Continuing on into the void. I think at this point, I have finished doing the outsides edges, so I am now going into the inside sections, which let me just say, I feel like there's a corner of this shop that I somehow always miss, because there's no like really easy way to see everything in here. There's just so much stuff, and it is hard to find all of it. They do have another video game section. I didn't look too close at any of this though because I had already bought Manhunt 2 for the Wii, and I was like, you know what? That's enough video games for the year. That's the only video game I need to buy this year. Just the one, and I'm good. Had some other car stuff. Oh, this guy. Now that's a doll I need. Death to go with my New Kids on the Block dolls. Oh, and there are some Cher doll fashion packs. I wish there was a Cher doll that I could take a gander at. That would have been fun to get to see. Some other fun clothes again. And oh no, my Awooga senses are tingling. I can't help it. I just, it's just there. It's just like a Barbie doll. I see Barbie, I lock eyes. I see bikini, I lock eyes. Oh God. I'm sure you all think I'm very normal. There is also a little stand here with lots of different action figures. And you know what? What is an action figure but a doll, realistically? Lots of Christmas stuff. Again, at this point, I'm starting to get tired. I've walked 5,000 steps. I've been driving around for a few hours from antique mall to antique mall, and I have not found any dolls that I plan on buying on this day. So I start to head out of the store. I'm realizing this is a 40-minute long video, so I hope that you all enjoyed it. I hope that you're having a great rest of your day. If you want to see more of this content in the future, leave a comment about that down below. But in the meantime, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.